name is Cole Pierce. Something that I care deeply about is trying to help my community professionally. I am a 911 telecommunicator. I have been for over 10 years. And then also, I do a lot of volunteer work. I work with my church. Something that really changed in me from my accident was helping others. I would say that I had probably a very typical life before my injury. I mean, I got hurt at 21, so I got hurt fairly young. I was in the middle of working and in the middle of school, college, and everything like that. I had the typical South Louisiana childhood growing up. I hunt, I fished, I camped, I barbecued, I played golf. I was very active in sports, football, baseball, basketball. My injury was January 1st, 2006. It was a single auto accident, my fault. It was in between school breaks. I went to work all that day, 12-hour shift, drove home where all my friends were having a big bonfire party. Alcohol was involved. I ended up getting into an argument with what at the time was my best friend. And I said, well, before I do something I'm going to regret, I'm just going to leave. I didn't make it 3 miles down the road. I was less than a mile from my mom's house at the time and in a curve that I had driven 1,000 times. And I ended up flipping my truck 6 times. I got ejected on the 5th. I went through the passenger door, landed into a patch of trees, and then hit the ground. The friend of mine who actually lived right behind me, he was actually in a field. So he had his girlfriend at the time who was actually in a nursing school program. So when they saw it, my truck was messed up so bad that he couldn't even recognize that it was me. And when he finally got up to me is when he realized the left side of my face was all mashed up. So I could only see out of my right eye. And I could see her holding my neck in place. And they were kind of keeping me conscious and alert. And they had already called 911. And I was like, y'all, I'm fine. Just straighten my legs out. And she looked me in my eye and she said, your legs are straight. And I said, okay, I'm paralyzed. I got to a regional hospital. They stabilized me and then they sent me to the main hospital in Baton Rouge. I wake up and I see my mom there and she's crying and the doctor's there and everything. And he looked at me and he said, you're paralyzed. And you're going to laugh. But the first thing I said was, okay, can I still have my own kids? And this shocked look over his face came over and he was like, yeah, but that's not the problem. And I said, I'm good. And I passed out. Peer support was a big thing after I came back from my 2 rehab hospitals. I went to Tier in Houston, then went to the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. You're dealing with people who completely understand what you're going through. You're able to see others do and motivate you. And it helps you. When I came home, because there was nobody else in my community at the time dealing with a spinal cord. So peer support was a big problem. I ended up wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of energy in dealing with the thoughts and the feelings of being alienated and being alone. And I think that also is part of the reason why I do what I do. I know that feeling of being alone and feeling vulnerable. And it's so hard because so many people just don't understand. They can look at you and see what you're going through, but until you're sitting in my chair and you feel like your legs weigh 400 pounds apiece and you can't move them, it's just not the same feeling. It's just really not. I'm a T11, T12 with partial return into L1 on my left side. I can manipulate a couple muscles on my inner quad, inner thigh, from the top part of my left leg, my right leg I can't. So, I have that feeling, the distended sensation down into my butt. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit below my waistline, but I'm still pretty much right at my waist. Some of the things that really helped me with getting back to normal life, it was definitely the sense of I had a certain group of friends that just did not go. I always called myself so rich in friends. I had a ton of friends, and I can tell you probably on one hand, I can count the amount that didn't either exclude me or treat me different or look at me different. Also for me was being able to go back to work. At the time, I was actually working at a local bar club, working the door, working the register and everything like that. Being able to get back in that environment, being able to socialize, being able to get out and see other people really helped. During this time is when I got involved with doing 911 and being able to feel productive and being able to feel like you can still help people. My family and my friends took time to make sure that I was still getting to the hunting club. I could still get in the boat to go fishing. I could still travel and everything like that. So those things definitely helped me realize just because you have an injury doesn't mean your life is over. Most surprising accomplishments. I'm going to have to say, obviously, being married, becoming part of her family, being involved with her kids. And then I actually took a 911 call with somebody I know who was planning on committing suicide. And he recognized my voice instantly. So being able to talk with him on a personal level and stopping him from doing that is something that will always stick out in my mind. And also, starting and operating and running a successful business with my wife. We actually have our own internet-based business. So it is a candle business. I would definitely say I'm still waiting on hopefully being able to have a child of my own. That's something that definitely I still want to experience. I am also part of a spinal cord injury group here in Louisiana where they're going to be having some outdoor outings in the summer, water skiing, things like that. That's something that I'm definitely looking forward to. Hopefully I'll be able to make one. I would definitely like to go back snow skiing again. I snow skied with my dad's parents before I was hurt when I was 16. Coming from South Louisiana, we hardly ever see snow. And that was something that I would really enjoy being able to do again because I just loved it so much. Other goals in my life that are more important than walking, would be being able to be financially secure for not just for me, but for my family, for my wife, for her kids, for any kids that we might have. Being able to become a father would be another one, that is much more important. And you can still do it. There's difficulties around it, yes, of course, but there's difficulties of being a parent in any situation. Being able to enjoy life, being able to go on a trip. I mean, there's so many more things that is so much more important than walking. I mean, walking is just a thing that you do. It's not a thing that you are. It doesn't define you as a person, whether or not you can walk or not. Who I am is not going to change if I could walk. The advice I would offer to somebody who is newly injured is number one, don't feel afraid to fall. You're going to fall. And I mean that in more than one way. You're going to have falls physically, of course. You're going to have falls mentally, spiritually. Don't be afraid to fall because if you can survive this, you can survive anything thrown at you. One thing, one day at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't let the whole total totality of everything going on overwhelm you because you have time to deal with everything that is coming in front of you. Definitely, if you've got that support of family and friends and everything like that, don't be afraid to ask for help. This is not a death sentence. This is not a end of your life sentence. This is a new beginning sentence. You've got to learn how to adjust. And going into all of that with an open mind and being receptive of everything will definitely help you in the long run.